Good morning and welcome back to week 3 of Disco Fitness with myself, David from CrossFit Cirencester, aka Coach Disco.
And I'm Anna, and thank you for joining us again on week 3. So this week you are going to learn everything associated with the handstand.
Exciting, getting you upside down. Inversion.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to follow the same format we have for the last 2 weeks. And today we are predominantly going to focus on a lot of strength to develop the handstand. So it is a lot of upper body work today.
Yeah, we don't want you jumping straight upside down and trying to do that to begin with, because that's going to end up with you guys having a quick trip to hospital. So we want to make sure that you're safe and you can do these exercises obviously as efficiently and safely as possible. So our set's going to start with our normal warm-up. We're going to go through some general stuff. Then we'll bit of specific stuff for the wrists.
Yeah.
To make sure you're not going to injure yourselves with those. A little bit of fingers as well. And then we'll go through another bit of conditioning to make sure we're nice and warm. So an extra warm-up, so extended warm-up. Then we'll go through our skill work, the handstand.
Yeah.
And then finally finishing up with our Metcon, the metabolic condition, the bit we get hot and sweaty. We're focusing on our upper body today. So there's actually no legs. You get a bit of rest from legs today.
Had a whole week of it.
Yeah, a whole week of legs last week. So just upper body today.
Right.
Quote of the day?
Well then.
A quote of the day. Be the reason someone smiles today. Ding.
You did it. Right, should we get warm?
Let's get warm. So, taking hold of your own hand, wrist circles to begin. Some of you start to know this now off by heart, hopefully. Wrist circles. We're doing 10 circles one way, and you can change to the other direction.
So we will be spending a lot of time on your hands, so we have to make sure that the wrists are prepped.
Definitely. Then it's the elbows. So we're going to do some elbow circles. Again, work through a longest range of motion you can do safely. And then we'll change direction, the same thing other way. It's kind of funky dance today. Shoulder circles, we're going to circle backwards. Again, making sure I'm not going to bash Anna. Again, brushing past the ears, work that range of motion. So hopefully now, week 3, you guys are probably feeling a little more mobile. Change direction. It's that 1% a day rule. So get 1% better every day. It's a big total at the end of the year.
Okay.
Shoulder taps. So your first chance to congratulate yourself for joining us for week 3, session 1. Pop the hands outside for Shakira's. So again, we already said that we're going to be upside down a lot today. We're going to make sure these shoulders are nice and warm as well as the wrists. Let's go across the opposite shoulder and lateral flexion. Another 10 reps. Give yourself a hug. So it's a slightly shortened workout warm-up today, just because we're not doing too much legs, so we're focusing on the upper body.
Absolutely.
We'll go up and back, down and back. This is one position we'll be in a moment. Pressing through the floor, trying to lift the ceiling up. So try and be as extended as you possibly can. A bit on the torso rotations. So every day we do this warm-up at CrossFit Cirencester in some way or some form.
Yeah.
I have to stop myself every single day and not avoid saying a tortoise rotation. Torso, torso, that's what my brain says, torso. Hip circles. Like warm-up Tourette's. And we'll change direction. So we're coming to the floor now to do some work on our wrists. So we have used this particular warm before. So imagine you're playing the piano. We've got 8 keys. You're going to press all 8 keys at once. If I turn it from the side on so you can see what's happening with my fingers on the side. So I'm not trying to get my palm to the ground. I'm just stretching through my fingers, making sure they're nice and warm.
Because a lot of the balance in the handstand is actually coming from the hands.
Yeah, and we talk about that as a cue, as one of our just playing the piano, so the effort comes from the fingers. I'm going to make a fist, and from here, Back of the hand on the floor, just stretch out the back of that forearm. So the handstand, we talk a little bit about finger positions and stuff, making sure that we are always generally facing the same way so we get the most contact on the ground, making it as efficient as possible. We're going to turn our fingers around, so the fingers are now going to point towards the knees. So if you have any wrist niggles, we're trying to find a position of comfort that still gives us that quality base to work from. And it's not easy. Again, first session on these, you'll probably find it'll be pretty challenging just spending time being upside down. And that is the foundation to this as a movement, really, isn't it? Spending
absolutely.
Time being inverted.
And it's building your confidence in that position.
Because some of you will be desperate to kick up to a handstand in your very first session. That's again, not ideal. Because you start creating bad habits. You want to make sure we're in control. Right,
just get a little bit warmer.
Definitely.
So now we're going to really focus on targeting the areas that we are going to work today. So if you do have a broomstick handy, a pole, could be a mop, if you grab that now. And we're going to start with our shoulder passes. So nice wide grip. Take it as far as your body will allow you to. So normally, the further your hands are away, the easier the movement becomes. As soon as you start getting a narrow grip, it does become a little bit more challenging.
Yeah, we've got a couple of hyper-mobile members at CrossFit Cirencester.
Don't force the stretch, whatever you do.
Who can do this with their hands together, or in fact, hands crossed over.
Yeah,
it's
so
very
you're only
impressive.
doing 10 of those. Once you've done that, we're going to press. So again, you can use a stick or you can use water bottles or dumbbells for this movement. We are just going to press overhead. So my hands are just outside my shoulders, going straight up, head coming slightly through. And again, we're going to do aim for 10.
Always being mindful to keep the rib cage down because you could end up pressing like this, like a strong man, which again is not ideal for learning how to do handstands.
So, a good morning. So we're going to use the stick, a nice flat back, soften the knees, but we're going to push the hips until, hit the chair, we get a nice stretch on the back of our legs. So David does it side on, so you can see. So David's popping the stick behind his head, which is how you're supposed to do this movement, but if you don't have an object that you can do that with, just copy me. Again, we're aiming for 10. I'm using count on these.
And again, it's always a soft knee, so I'm never actually trying to force my knees straight.
And then we have one more movement. We are going to do a 10-second hollow hold, because believe it or not, we need that core for these handstands. Do you count for me?
Yeah, so the hollow hold, Anna's doing toes off the floor, hands overhead. And make sure you're keeping that nice, strong midline.
So it's just a 10-second hold.
9 and 10. Well done.
And then we're going to repeat it one more time from the beginning. So you can move through it a little bit faster now, you know it.
Again, making sure we're not forcing the range of motion. Work to a range that's safe for you.
Absolutely. Into those presses. Bring it in front. And like David mentioned, it's really important to watch that rib cage. Really draw those abdominal muscles in. Set a strong foundation for pressing. So into your good mornings, or you can just turn it into a deadlift. Seven. You're going to do the hold this time.
Can do.
So David will go down into that hold with you.
I'll show you a scale version just in case.
Shock.
So I'm just going to keep my feet on the floor. So it's the same movement, my feet on the floor. And my hands overhead.
But we're still creating that shape.
And this is essentially the same position you'll be in for your handstand later on if you decide to do a full one.
See it shaking. 3, 2, and relax. Well done, guys. So we're going to move on to actually teaching you the skill, aren't we?
Yeah.
So we're going to look at the handstand and just starting right at the bottom of the scale.
So the first thing we're going to try is from the floor.
Yeah.
So we looked at the piked push-ups previously. We're going to start from that position to begin with. So Anna's going to pop her hands on the floor. You just want to get used to holding some weight through your arms. So the position is a nice straight line through the body. Anna's looking towards the toes. So if you get yourself in that position now, we'll go hands on the floor, looking towards your toes.
Basically, your arms should be like this. If I'm just standing tall, I'm doing exactly the same on the floor. So from here, I'm transferring it to here.
I notice that Anna's fingers are pointing forwards.
Yes.
Some of you start to tempt, we talked about those fingers trying to turn out. We're trying to avoid that as best we can. It's a bit like when we did the squats last week. We talked about our feet facing forwards. It's the same thing when we do our handstands. We want those fingers to face forward, so it's 90 degrees at your thumb and forefinger, if you can.
And at any point, if you're unable to reach the floor, we just use an object to bring the floor closer to you.
Excellent. So the next piece for us is going to go to slightly elevated position.
Yes.
So we've got a chair and a box out. We'll start on the box, so the box is a little bit lower. And we're going to start with our knees on the edge. So knees in the box, or if you guys are using a chair or the couch, it's exactly the same thing. So we start to load up more weight. So Anna's now taking, she's obviously taking the foot off the ground, she's now putting more weight through her arms. Again, fingers forwards, look into the gap. Very straightforward. So using your couch, find yourself this position on the floor. So hands on the floor, tucking the head through, looking towards those toes.
Exactly the same as this position.
So to make that a little bit harder again, we're now going to put Anna up onto her feet. So start on the knees. Hopefully you can stand on your couch at home. So now Anna's taken about 60% of her body weight through her arms. So take out the weight of her legs. Just a same position for the hands, about shoulder width apart, and we're holding again. Very straightforward. So most of you can probably achieve that.
Yes.
Have a little try that movement yourself. So again, if any of you have suffered from high blood pressure, just be a bit careful when you come back upright. You want to make sure everything levels off nicely.
Make it harder.
Finale.
Yeah.
So if you guys have space at home, we'd recommend you guys using a wall.
Absolutely.
We do something called a wall climb. We'll actually climb up the wall in reverse. We can't do that here because we haven't got enough a wall to do it from. So we're going to do a straightforward kicking up to a handstand. So I'm going to be Anna's wall for the moment.
She is. So again, this just requires a little bit of confidence. When you are kicking up to a wall, you know the wall will catch you as long as you keep your arms nice and locked.
Yeah, so the key is just keeping those arms straight. So hands on the floor.
Ready?
So if you go hands on the floor, we're good. I'll heave you up to begin with. Try that.
Okay.
So Anna's popping her hands on the floor. She's going to a little jump to kick up. And I'm on the wall, and she's holding against the wall. Exactly the same thing again. Looking towards the opposite direction she just travelled from, and a straight body line. So at home, you guys might want to walk up the wall. So that means hands on the floor and walk up the wall so you're facing the walls. We call this a nose-to-wall handstand hold. And obviously, the closer you are to the wall, the more challenging that becomes. So find yourself a wall if you feel safe.
Yes. You
can either walk up the wall, as we just demonstrated what I just talked about, or you can turn around and kick up and hold against the wall.
Yeah.
That's going to be quite helpful for in a moment.
Absolutely. So we will be using this exercise.
Obviously, make sure those arms stay nice and straight.
Yes.
And ultimately, the pinnacle is to do a freestanding handstand. Haven't quite got enough space for that today, so we'll save that for another day.
Absolutely. Right, so moving on to our Metcon and our test, we always start the week with a test. So from one of the options we just showed you, we need to accumulate 2 minutes in a handstand hold. Now, what that means is it doesn't have to be a consecutive 2 minutes. You can come out of the position and you can put yourself back in that position.
So we use this a lot in our training at the gym, so we're making sure that we're spending quality time being upside down. It is the only way to get used to being upside down is to be upside down.
So just to recap, that means you can use your sofa, a couch, a box, a step to put yourself in that position I was in earlier. Or if you do have a wall, you can kick up to the wall, or you can turn around and walk up the wall.
Yep. So again, there should be a level for everyone.
Now, once we have finished the 2 minutes, we will go straight into the workout today. So you'll have 2 minutes on your hold, and then we have 6 minutes to work through our ladder. So we start with the walking handstand holds. So we don't have a wall here, so what we're going to use is a box to demonstrate what we're going to do.
So it's a bit like some of the walkouts we've done previous in our warm-ups.
Yeah.
It looks like this. So feet or knees on the box. Remember, knees in the box is the easier version. Toes in the box is a little bit harder. Hands going to walk out to our front support. So remember that from week 1, and then walk back in. And she walks out again, front support, and walks back in the handstand position. Very, very straightforward. Obviously from the knees, it's a little bit easier. Again, if you want to, you can do this from the floor. So it's just a straightforward walkout. Looks like this. Hands on the floor, we walk out, find your front support, walk back in. And even if you're not very flexible, you can still do that one. It doesn't have to be a pike position.
So once you have completed 2, you will go into what we call an L-sit press. So basically, we're taking the legs out of the equation. The shoulders are going to do all of the work along with your abdominal muscles. So from here, David presses up and down. We are doing 8 presses every time. So if you don't have dumbbells, you can just grab some water bottles or cans, anything that you have available. So how this will work is you'll start with 2 of your walkouts, 8 of your presses, then you have to add on 2. So then it'll be 4 of your walkouts, always 8 presses, then 6. So in the 6 minutes, we're trying to build as much as we can in the ladder, adding on to each round.
So the fitter ones amongst you will obviously end up doing lots and lots of volume, and not so fit.
You'll still get a brilliant workout because you have to keep working for 6 minutes.
And it's all shoulders. It's quite a challenging combination.
Right, so we are starting with our test, our 2-minute hold. Remember, you can come down as many times as you need to. We are just learning the foundations of the strength needed in that handstand position.
And as always, we're going to share the work between us.
Yes.
So we're doing it as a you go, I go. If you want to do that at home, you can do that yourself. Otherwise, you obviously can join us and do a you go, I go with a friend or family member, provided you live in the same house.
You ready?
Right, athletes, we're going to go for our full handstand hold. Want to try that?
Yeah, sure.
Let's give it a go. So we'll go to the higher scale. And again, obviously you guys can use the boxes or the chairs that you have available at home. We're doing some intervals. We've got a 2-minute countdown, so accumulating 2 minutes, or up to 2 minutes. And we're on standby to catch Anna.
So if you have a wall, you can try this.
So you'll start to realise pretty quickly that 2 minutes being upside down is a long time.
It is a long time.
So I would say maybe break it into 15, possibly 20-second blocks. Anna's doing very well. Let's try from the toes.
Oh,
That's 30
I
seconds.
broke my shape. Right.
Taken out.
Which one are you going
so
to do?
quality is the key. That's always the way that we work, is sort of making sure that we do everything quality. Ready to go?
Got it? So David's a lot taller than me, so that's why I'm holding him from his calves.
Remember to breathe.
Squeeze. You're doing great, guys. And remember, it doesn't matter how many times you come down. We are just building the foundations of that strength needed. Well done.
Ooh, that was sweaty.
Blood rushes to the face. Right, ready?
Yep, Anna's kicking back up again.
Oh, overkicked that.
That would have been through the wall. If you are kicking up again, make sure you're kicking up gently. It's a good practice to make sure it's a gentle kick up to the wall. So there's 30 seconds remaining on our clock. Do you think you can hang on, Anna?
No.
Okay.
Okay. You ready to catch you? Pressure of catching you. Oh, together. That's it, got ya. 10 seconds. Making him work harder now. 3, 2, 1. So we're into our walkouts. So 2 walkouts. Shall I start with the floor?
Yep, so Anna's doing the scale version we mentioned earlier. Front support.
So David will go into 8 presses.
That's how it's going to work today. So again, I'm mindful that I'm pressing like I would if I was doing a handstand push-up. So my elbows at 90 degrees, they're out in front of my body. This is a position of common movements.
Well done. So now we have to add on 2, remember, so we're going to 4. Should I do 2, you do 2?
You can, good plan.
The box moves.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to put the box on the mat because it's definitely going to slip around when I start getting on there.
Giving you a heads up.
One.
If you are doing this against a wall, it will be harder. So don't worry if you're not moving as fast.
2.
So 8 presses.
Yeah, so there's loads of different scales to this workout. We can obviously do nose to wall style. We can do it from the floor, from a couch. The higher your feet go, obviously the harder this becomes.
7, 8. So we're on 6 walkouts now.
A little bit higher again.
Yep, sure.
So we're making our box a little bit higher.
Do 3 each. So always remembering the handstand shape. Want to tuck that head in, bring these shoulders and squeeze those ears. Well done.
And we're making sure our arms stay straight throughout. It's headband time, team. Getting sweaty. Looking good.
8 presses.
So I'm doing mine from the side so you can see what I mean about this 90 degrees of my elbows.
So just coming up to just over 3 minutes left. So we have 8 walkouts now. So I'm going to not use the box this time.
So again, like us, if you want to change your scales as you go through, just to keep that quality. Quality is the key to all of these movements. Making sure we're doing it without breaking the actual skill. So as soon as technique breaks, that's when you just stop. Or scale.
We'll have to remember the stimulus of the session, and that is to build strength in the handstand position. So we need those shoulders to get worked and get strong. So you're doing 4. Well done. Okay, so I'm on the 8 presses.
So you can already tell this isn't the kind of workout that's going to get you huge out of breath. Using fairly small muscle groups. So it's when we start using the legs, that's the kind of stuff that gets you out of breath. This is all about, as I said, the strength, developing that endurance in the shoulders.
That's 8. So we're on 10 walkouts.
So I'm going to use the box again. We're going to go for my knees this time.
So just got 2 minutes on the clock left. So we are keep climbing the ladder, guys, until the time runs out. You doing 5?
Yep.
Well done. Lost your mic.
Oh. Back on. I'll go back on again now.
That's 4. One more.
This is probably our last set on the dumbbells.
Yep, back to the dumbbells.
And again, if you have a super friend with you, we can show the wheelbarrow style, can't we?
Yeah. So you won't realise, But working in this position is putting a lot of strength through the abdominal muscles, which we need. We need to build them up as well.
So this time we're going to wheelbarrow squat, but like school.
You need to take.
B.
Okay.
So Anna's going to take my ankles. I'm going to walk
In.
into my jackknife.
Well done. 20 seconds left. So we are on 12 walkouts now. Remember, you're always adding on 2. You've got 10 seconds, David. You're going to keep going?
6, yep.
5. And time. Safely dismount.
Woo. Very sweaty.
Yeah. Well done, guys. Like David said, that was a little bit of a different workout than we've done before because we really are focusing on building the good foundations and strength needed for handstands.
Yeah, it's all about good habits. We could get you kicking up to a wall on your very first session, holding handstand, but you're not building the foundation of understanding how we start to move,
Absolutely.
head positions, pressing the floor away, all those key points.
It's really important to begin being able to support your own body weight. And a lot of you probably haven't had a lot of time doing that. And like David said, and then to get you upside down as well is a totally different skill.
Yeah, and again, you probably don't realise that when you're upside down, your respiratory system doesn't like being upside down.
Doesn't.
So your heart and lungs prefer being this way up. Particularly if you have a competition and leave us handstand walks with anything, it's quite challenging, isn't it?
So well done, guys. I hope you've learnt something today.
Definitely.
Right.
Let's give a little cool down. So we're going to start with hands and knees. I'm going to pop one elbow on the floor, directly out in front, touch my own shoulder. And I'm going to slide that arm across the opposite side. That just gives a little bit of space. There's handstands earlier. I'll feel that underneath your armpit and probably the back of your arm. So these static stretches, at least a minute really, but we haven't got time for that unfortunately. Exactly the same thing other side. Elbow on the floor, touch your own shoulder, slide it across to the opposite side. I'm looking into my armpits, I'm looking towards Anna. And Anna's looking towards pants case over there in the wings. Very slowly coming up. So I'm going to do some stuff for the chest, chest and upper back. So we're going to work through the back of the arm. So elbow on the floor again. I'm going to put my shoulder down on the floor and take some of the weight through my spare arm. Arm goes out straight. Just upper back and lats. Exactly the same thing on the other side. And then we'll do it in reverse. So the closer the shoulder is to the ground, the more severe the stretch. So I feel that most of my rib cage. What about you?
Yeah, I'd say same.
Rhomboids,
Yeah.
straight anterior. So now do the same thing on your front. So arm goes out straight.
Got enough space?
Yep, I'm going to push myself the other way. So we talked about before, muscles are agonists. They like doing pulling movements. So to stretch them, we'll do the opposite. My hand wants to pull towards my chest, but I'm pushing my hand away from my chest.
Definitely feel that one.
Same side, same to the side. Again, push my hand to the floor, lift my chest up. We'll go to that little mega wrist stretch as well to make sure that's nice to stretch. So if you take hold of your own hand, I'm going to pull your fingers down. If you can, I can never do it. So I'm trying to pop my elbow into the pit of my own arm.
Like that.
I spend hours trying to do this.
Like that.
Yeah.
Don't worry, guys. Just do this. It's fine.
Like being in a straight jacket.
Do
And then we'll switch, same thing on the side. I'll get this side, today, yes. We got it. Like a coil of snakes.
Remember, do not force any of these stretches. Just work to your own range and ability.
Well done, team. You guys get a high five.
Yeah, well done.
Virtual high fives for you guys, superstars.
And we'll see you tomorrow for more handstands.
Yeah, don't forget to support the bar. Make sure you click on that donate button, help them out. Have a great day, team. Well done.
Bye, guys.